from Cairo Sushi and Black Diamond Club. And this is going to be an amazing evening of awesome sauce, a blitz, will you, of a ton of questions, rapid fire AMA for my man, Shawn Dill, and this dude who blew it away at summer camp. Totally just dropped nuggets after nuggets after nuggets. Steve Sims and Shawn, I'll let you kind of introduce Steve, because behind the scenes, no one knows kind of what happens, but Shawn pinged our group and said, hey, I think I can get Steve Sims. And we all kind of went, yeah. So everyone knows Shawn Dill, Dr. Shawn Dill. And Shawn, if you wouldn't mind just briefly introducing Steve and why we've been partnering with him and what we got coming up.
Hey, I think that one of the things when you see us affiliated with, partnering with people in the entrepreneurial space, the number one thing that we look for is likability. Now, I've heard Steve subsequently say, like, you know, the test of if you'll sit and have a beer with them, and I don't drink beer, so it would have to be a whiskey. It'd have to be an old fashioned. But when we look for people, I mean, that's the number one thing. Like, do we like them? I got to tell you, like, just immediately talking with Steve, we got on a phone call and it was like, yeah, this guy is genuine. You know, you meet a lot of people and they're not, you know, there's the internet version of them. And then there's the person that you get to talk to. Steve is exactly who he is. And that's what made him so likable. And I was like, man, so we should do business together. Now, beyond that, the guy is wildly connected, wildly successful. He's an inspiration to tons of people. He drives cool motorcycles and he knows exactly what he's talking about when it comes to old fashioned. So, I mean, his laundry list of attributes, but first and foremost, I just like the guy. And so actually too, I don't know if Steve heard this, I had a conversation with him and we were kind of connected mutually through Jay Abraham. And I got off the call with you, Steve, and I was so excited. I told Lacey, oh my gosh, there's this guy, Steve Sims. He wrote this book, Blue Fishing. We got to get him for summer camp. And Lacey was like, you will never believe this. Like, we were actually trying to find that guy because we wanted to put together something for your 50th birthday. I was like, okay, well, he doesn't do that anymore, but we could still get him for summer camp. And so she is like, oh, okay. I said, and I just talked to him. Like, what do you mean you couldn't get a hold of him? So that's who Steve Sims is. He is just, the more I get to hang around with him, the more I absolutely love and adore this guy. And so I'm super excited to hear what he has for us tonight.
Wow. How do I follow that?
With answering a ton of awesome questions with all the gold nuggets that you both carry inside of you. But real quick, just so you guys know, upcoming in Scottsdale, Shawn and Steve put together a special version of his Speakeasy. You guys can visit stevesims.com/BDC, stevesims.com/BDC to get in. I believe there's only about a dozen seats left. And Steve, we were talking offline what the Speakeasy is all about. If you could just give us your elevator pitch for what anyone who would invest in the weekend with you guys, what are they going to get?
They're going to get uncomfortable. And for a start, I think there's less than a dozen now. So those people that are too slow are going to miss out and then suffer from extreme FOMO. We're going to get people uncomfortable. We're going to get them to react. We're going to get them to take action in the simplest, most impactful manner. Now, I hate going to events, getting rah-rahed, coming out of it and going, well, I feel all motivated, but what the bloody hell do I do with that? So we're going to give you actionable tips, tricks, hacks, however you want to term it, that's basically going to have you leaving the event smarter and more impactful than when you first turned up.
Nice. It's going to be an epic week. And we're going to get started here with, I'm going to be like Tony Rinaldi from Pardon the Interruption here. No FaceTime here anymore. I'll be the voice in the cloud. I'm going to hit you guys up. Whoever wants to answer the first question coming from Danielle. What is a typical day like for you, including one thing that you make sure to do every single day?
Shawn, do you want to hit it first?
Yeah, sure. I saw, you know, this is a holiday time and a lot of people are investing in this self-care. And typically for me, I wake up probably about between 5 and 6 a.m. with no alarm because I'm super excited about the day. I try to tackle the morning with a morning routine. I won't spend time with that because what I think is most important about my day is halftime adjustment. So a lot of people do morning routine. Everybody knows about that, but I always take it. I always have a pause in the middle of the day to revisit kind of how I started the first half and then make any adjustments that I need to do for the back half. I'm not going to wait till, dinner time and be like, gosh, today sucked, especially if I have a break when I have the opportunity to get the day back on track. I'm absolutely religious about my calendar. If it's not planned, unless it's an emergency, I'm not going to do it. And so I prep my days at the end of the day, wake up, morning routine, tons of stuff on morning routine. I think the key for me is halftime adjustments.
Yeah, I'm just as military with my calendar. If it ain't in my calendar, it ain't happening. I also, and this is something a lot of people don't do, I actually book time with my kids and my wife. And this may sound daft, but you will put your doctor in your calendar. You will put your accountant, IRS, your attorney, all these people you don't want to talk to, yet you won't put an hour and a half to go and have breakfast off-site with your wife, So I actually schedule that a lot. And I say, hey, babe, can we go out a couple of times next week? Kids, can we go and just walk in the park, whatever? But I have the same military guard for the calendar. But my routine is really simple. I wake up in the morning, I pour a cup of coffee, and then I walk my yard looking out over the hills of Los Angeles and the Santa Monica Mountains, and I smile. I am grateful that my work, my effort, my scars, my family, my team, my standards has got me the ability to be able to walk around in my home, on my land, with my cup of coffee. So I take rejoice and gratitude every single morning.
Oh, that's beautiful, guys. Let's jump to the next question here. And that's from Ria. What are your non-negotiables to ensure that you stay performing at your highest level?
Well, I'm a weirdo on that, of course. My answer I already know is going to differ from Steve's, but obviously I think that being a chiropractor, health is a primary non-negotiable value of mine. So nutrition is super important to me, making sure I try to eat all organics. Sometimes it's a challenge, but I try to keep organic food coming in my body. And then I do a lot of, supplements and anti-aging peptides, things like that. Basically trying to, hack this aging process, not for looks, because I already lost the game on that, but really just for performance. So if I can be at my highest level of performance, that's what I'm always striving to do, because my job depends on me performing for other people.
Again, mine's much quicker and shorter. Standards, non-negotiable. My standards are my standards, and I'm not going to lower them to meet yours. And I'm always going to try and increase my standards. The better I do, that's my new standard. So standards, never settle.
Brilliant, guys. If you're joining us, we're with Steve Sims, Shawn Dill. We have the upcoming Speakeasy. You guys can head over to stevesims.com/BDC, stevesims.com/BDC, and get your ticket to Speakeasy. We're doing rapid fire questions with these two geniuses here. As 2021 comes to a close, what's the biggest change you've noticed within yourself?
Man, and I this is one that for me, honestly, I'm super excited to spend some time with Steve at Speakeasy, because I want to continue this change. I want to make it even deeper, because in my younger years, I think I don't know if I would say angry, but much more sort of vengeful, spiteful. If you didn't see things my way, I took a hard line approach to that. If you screwed us over, like, I burn the bridge. Like, I never wanted to do business with you. I think that what I've seen this year, mentors and people that have influenced me, is gratitude and compassion. Not everybody's going to see the world like I see the world, and that's okay. I still don't have to, like Steve said, I don't have to accommodate my worldview to the rest of the world, but I also don't have to force my worldview on everybody as well. And if people don't agree with me, that's all right. Like, they can agree or think whatever they want to think. That doesn't obligate me to do business with them or help them. But it doesn't mean that they're necessarily bad people.
Yeah, that's a fantastic one. The biggest thing that I've noticed that I've changed within myself, and I think I'm going to continue this change, is how I relate to time. We've had COVID dictate where we're going to be, whether it be in our house or whether we can't communicate with other people, can't get together with them face to face. But I look at time differently now. And I've also realized at the age of 55, I ain't got much of it left. So I make sure that every second, every week, and it can get tiring, but I get a free hour, I get a canceled call, I get, oh, I'm not going on that appointment. And so all of a sudden I got 2 hours. Rather than sitting back and going, okay, what can I binge watch on Netflix? What impact can I create in 2 hours? What can I sink my enthusiasm and attention into for 45 minutes and see what impact and education can actually come out of that? So I view time differently now that the COVID's taught me. And I think it's going to continue that way.
No, we're gonna get into some time questions coming up here on some apps and stuff, but great answers. What I'm assuming this is business metrics. What are your three most important, and maybe it's life metrics too? What are your three most important metrics to track right now?
Well, if we're giving us life metrics, I mean, I have tons of alarms set on my watch. So I want to make sure that I'm sticking to my calendar. So that's a metric, like how diligent and disciplined can I be with that? Of course, in our business, we're always looking at, and by the way, that's one of the things that anybody that works with me knows. That's one of the key components that we bonus on is not only our ability, my team supporting us and being able to stay on calendar, also their ability to stay on calendar. Of course, top line revenue and bottom line revenue, I think those are important. You only really are trained to look at those things when you're doing well. I think the key thing too is when, things aren't where you want them to be, pay attention to your finances. And then I think for me, another thing is just relationships. I try to keep track of the reach outs, connections. I count this tonight as a reach out and connection with Steve. And so that one enables me on my list of key important relationships to tick that and say, all right, so I've had a touch point with Steve, but I don't want to allow, 90 days or more to go by without having a touch point with someone that's important. And just like Steve was saying, that would include, of course, your significant other and your children, but what about your parents, your brothers, your sisters, other people that you also want to make sure that you're relating to? So relationship touch points is also very important.
I think me and you, Shawn, could both agree that is there a difference between life metrics and business metrics when nine times out of 10, we are the business?
That's right, because most business problems are personal problems in disguise.
Oh, there you go. Good night. Thanks for coming, folks. No, that's absolutely brilliant. I love that. My metrics are very, very simple, like most of everything I ever do. It's very, very simple. Impact, smiles, and energy. That's it. That's how I value all of one impact am I creating. If I can create good impact, you becoming more profitable, you becoming more impactful, then my invoices get paid. That looks after my bottom line. The smiles creates me wanting to do it. Like everything, if you're smiling while doing something, don't you want to do more of it? And at the end of the day, if I'm energized, like after this call, you're right, I get to have a call with you. Okay, so I come off this call and I'm pumped. But when you've had a day where you haven't usually achieved anything, aren't you tired and run down? It's quite the opposite. But when you work hard and smiles and impact, you get more energy at the end of the day. So my metric is if at the end of the day, I am happily energized, maybe even tiredly energized, then I know I've created enough impact with enough smiles. So impact, smiles, and energy.
Love it.
You guys, imagine a weekend with Steve in Arizona.
Don't imagine, be there.
Be there. Yeah.
Not that hard.
I love this dude, man. Steve, maybe we'll jump to you because you were truly the best growth hacker we've ever had at summer camp. And I don't even know if you even like that term. It's kind of cliche now, but what is the best marketing growth hack that you've actually used and saw results?
Oh, dead easy. Again, keeping it simple and stupid. Stop trying to be someone else. Every industry you can think of has some kind of stereotype. Okay, you're working in Silicon Valley, you wear a hoodie and some sneakers. You're working in Wall Street, you start wearing a pinstripe suit. Everyone adopts the impression of the industry they're in, but no one phenomenal ever did it by following anyone else. They dared to stand out from day one. Mark Zuckerberg, Steve Jobs, Elon Musk, Richard Branson, Bill Gates, I'll go on. So when I first started, I thought to myself, hey, I'm not attractive, I'm not articulate, I'm not smooth and debonair, but all of that goes out the window if I stop trying to care about that and focus all my energy on solving your problem. When I solve your problem, you no longer care what I look like. So I stopped trying to be anybody else. In fact, I never started. And then I suddenly started looking around to me and suddenly seeing a bunch of penguins. Everyone was looking identical in a room. Yeah, who was standing out? The guy that wasn't trying.
I'm really curious what Shawn's answer to this is. What's your favorite marketing growth hack that you've used and saw results?
I can't beat that being Steve Stems. What are you talking? I would just say, I mean, we have Lacey's birthday coming up tomorrow. Lacey'sWaitlist.com. We use that this year for my birthday, my 50th. Tomorrow's Lacey's 40th. Creating a wait list that went amazing. There's nothing better than your birthday and having tons of sales rolling in. That's the greatest. And then the real greatest on both my birthday and tomorrow on Lacey's birthday, we have been so abundantly blessed. We are giving away so many gifts to the people that are on the wait list. That's super cool too. People were like, oh my gosh, like I wish I could give away things on my birthday. And then, you know, that's just payback for all of the people that have blessed us with their support and using us as their coaches.
Awesome, guys. Great question here. Who is your favorite entrepreneur and why?
Did that come into me?
Yeah, whoever wants to take that one.
All right, that's easy. Anyone that's failed. Now, you can sit here very easily and go, oh, Richard Branson, Jean-Paul Dujourier, you know, Elon Musk. But the guy that opened up a florist in your high street and it failed, there's some great growth in that. So I love having conversations with entrepreneurs and finding out where they got tripped up. I've had conversations with people that aren't billionaires that have actually taught me more because they failed, and the growth is in the failure. It's never in the sparkly success. Okay. That's just, you know, the result of you doing well, but we learn from our failures and mistakes. And if we're smart, we use those to refine us, not define us.
I mean, I'll just add in, you know, I 1,000,000% resonate with that. Lacey and I's charge and the whole, you know, everything that we're doing is that the world's greatest service providers live in relative obscurity. I would even say maybe they haven't even failed yet because they're too scared to try. The world's greatest hairdressers, the world's greatest doctors, the world's greatest services are coming from people, the artists that are too afraid to market and sell their services. So those are the greatest entrepreneurs. Here's the thing, they just don't know it yet.
Yeah, that's a good one. That is a good one. Yeah, you beat me on that one, Shawn. Point to Shawn.
Well, I wish this was like the debates with Trump and Biden, but you both are winning here. We're probably going to jump around here a little bit because we're running out of time. But what, I love this one. If you could solve one global problem tomorrow, what would you solve?
Stupidity. There is way too, look, we're going to cure COVID one of these days. I just wish we could put the same energy into curing stupidity. That's what we need to focus on.
That's exactly what I would say. That's exactly.
We're gonna go back to what if oh, this is a good one. How did you land your first client or customer? Curious about that story.
Shawn, do you want me to take it?
Yeah.
I worked in a nightclub and I saw a bunch of guys that couldn't get into a party. So I knew I'd have their attention if I got them into a party. So I just went up and I asked the doorman, you know, what time do you want them here? And I managed to pull it off. I focused on the person's problem. Everything else went by the wayside. The fact that I was some big meathead on the front door of a nightclub suddenly went away. I was now the cure to the problem they had, which was they couldn't get into where they wanted to. So I focused on that problem. And then I started continuing, and I went from getting people in the nightclubs to working with the Grammys and Sir Elton John's Oscar party.
For me, a lot of people know this story. So the super shortened version of it is that I don't know. I was in Costa Rica and I didn't speak Spanish. So I had no ability to communicate. I was the dumb gringo who thought that everybody spoke English all around the world. And at 24 years old, decided to move to Costa Rica to practice chiropractic, and I couldn't communicate. Later on, I did find out why or how I got them, because I was invited on a television show, which I absolutely bombed because I couldn't speak the language. And they invited me back. And they kept inviting me back. And one day, the host of the television show, I asked her, why did you keep having me come back when I was so terrible initially? And she said, and when you first came on the TV show, and I'm talking about, this was a nationally televised morning show, like the Today Show. She said, when you first came on the TV show, I had no idea what you said. I couldn't understand a word you said, but I could see in your eyes that you had an important message to tell. And so when you walked off that set, I told the producers, get him back. And they were like, what? And she said, get him back because he has a story to tell, and keep bringing him back until he gets it right. I think for entrepreneurs, look, you might not have the most sophisticated ad copy or speech or whatever it is, but people can see your heart through your eyes. And if people know that you are sincere, that's how you connect. They will do business with you.
Beautiful. We're almost close to running out of time. I'm going to ask one or two more questions here. I love this one.
Can you imagine what 2 days would be like with us? I just thought I'd lay that there.
2 days, stevesims.com/BDC Speakeasy, guys, get on it. What's one interesting idea that you think you have that you are waiting to execute?
Do you know what happened yesterday? I literally woke up one morning and I thought, I don't understand NFTs, but why should that stop me doing one? So I literally launched my first NFT yesterday at 9 a.m. and I've learned a ton from that NFT, and it's been really successful, which has also amazed me. But yeah, that was my recent thing. You see, you should stop thinking too much and start doing. That's where the education comes from.
Other great people over there in the Wolf Den, all of the people that watch this page, watch this page and watching this, they know about the Wolf Den. Jump over there and check out what Steve launched. Great people behind that. For me, I have a couple. A couple of weeks ago, Dave Meltzer convinced me and Lacey to go in with him on this zoo. So we're gonna open a zoo in St. Lucia. We haven't launched it yet, but that's an idea that hasn't come to fruition. And we're super excited about that. That's going to be super cool.
A zoo. I love that.
Well, guys, we have a couple more minutes just to share. Shawn, I want to ask you, when you asked Steve to put this speakeasy together, what are you hoping, or what do you know that people are going to take away when they leave Arizona, a little hungover on some old fashions and hungover on some gold nuggets dropped? What is your goal for walkaways, takeaways, and what should they look and attest an ROI to for that weekend for themselves?
Well, my whole life, I've always struggled with, I would even say in the spiritual world, this idea that something can happen to you or for you while you're sitting on the couch. And I love spirituality, and I think that praying is great. But if you pray, please give me a job, but you haven't applied for any jobs, guess what? You're not going to get a job. And I know that all growth happens outside of your comfort zone. And so here's the deal. I think that what we're going to do is we're going to put people in a position that's uncomfortable. Now, not uncomfortable like you might die or you might be hurt, but it's going to expand what you're comfortable with so we can expand what you believe is possible. And what I know is that in that slightly uncomfortable zone, but you're safe. Look at Steve. He's a big guy. He's not going to let you die or anything happen to you. That's where massive growth, massive change happens. And so what happens? First and foremost, you're going to be connected to Steve Sims. Like, how great is that? And you're going to be connected with the other people there, sharing in common this experience. You're going to form new bonds, new relationships that are going to last a lifetime. Secondarily, and this is sometimes crazy, people are like, what about the information? That's secondary always to the people. And look, even over Steve, Lacey, Shawn, the people in the room are the most important. The guests that you never expected to meet and connect with, they're the ones that are going to bring you the most value. And that's what's going to happen is, so your takeaways, you're going to have connections of people to hold you accountable, to partner with, to create new ideas with, to expand your business with. Remember my first 2 Comma award came about because I had lunch with Trey Llewellyn at a Jay Abraham mastermind. Prior to that, I had no idea who Trey Llewellyn was. He didn't know who Shawn Dill was. That company made $1 million in its first year. That same thing can happen to you with somebody in the room at the Speakeasy.
Yeah, man, I was blown away by the Austin event that Clay Mosley went to, and saw Andrew from Mixergy there. I mean, I was just like, my jaw was dropped. So the connections there. Steve, just one more.
Yeah, but nobody knew that. You see, that's something you need to make clear. Nobody knows who turns up at my speakeasies. I curate those people that are going to impact you. So everyone looks at those afterwards and goes, shit, why didn't you tell me that person was going to be there? Because if you knew, you'd have come for the wrong reasons. I want you to come for your growth, not who's going to be up on stage.
Woo! So guys, really easy. Like Steve said, go to stevesims.com/BDC.
Tristan, Steve D. Sims.
Steve D. Sims. Oh, I'm missing the D on there. Well, of course I am. Of course Steve brings the D.
D for dashing.
And I love that you take crypto, man. We were talking about that in the BDC group the other day. So all of our Dan Nicholson peeps, all our crypto guys, you can use all your money that you're making every day. Stacy Livingston, you can throw your stuff in there. I want to thank Steve for coming out. Shawn, of course. Guys, get your asses to the Speakeasy.
Yeah, don't cry about it. Don't email me afterwards whinging. Don't phone up Shawn going, I'm sure he's going to hang up on you. If he doesn't, I'll take the phone out of his hand and I'll hang up on her.
You got it. I'm going to hang up on you.
Thanks, guys. Oh,
I was going to say, for everybody else that we don't hang up on, can't wait to see you in Scottsdale. It's going to be absolutely amazing. There are very few spots left. Get on this. Don't wait. This is something you want to do. I also got to say, like, the price, it's mispriced. That's not a mistake. We're not missing the one in front of the two. It's not $12,000. It is actually $2,000. You will not find, and that's why I love Steve. Heart of gold, service oriented. He's not trying to take you behind the woodshed and get you for every last dime. He's looking to provide value and change your life. Don't miss this opportunity.
Truth.
Beautiful, guys. We'll see you guys in Scottsdale. Speakeasy, BDC style. Let's go.
See you later.